Sign it.
Today's date.
9/6. Judge Rudy Harper, on behalf of Mr. Dorsey, he's before the court on 20 CF 1076. At this time, he's going to withdraw his previously entered plea and enter a plea of no contest. This will be an adjudication of guilt. He'll be sentenced to 35 years in the Department of Corrections. There'll be, as a condition of that, he has to serve a 25-year minimum mandatory Department of Corrections sentence. This will run concurrent between all counts. Standard court costs and fines were asked to be sent to judgment. I have spoken with Mr. Dorsey and explained to him the distinction between a minimum mandatory sentence and the day-to-day, and the fact that there's no gain time attributed to that. And I explained to him that to the other part of the sentence, he is entitled to gain time.
Judge, I apologize. I went to the Florida State game this weekend. I have no voice, but for the
No
record.
excuse.
For the record, the minimum mandatory is going to be on counts 1 and 3 only, Judge.
Very good.
I have spoken to the victim's family about this. We spoke this morning, and they are in agreement with the resolution on the case.
And I assume the state is also.
Yes, Judge. I don't have a score sheet. Our anticipation until about 9:30 this morning was that it was going to be a trial, so I didn't have the score sheet ready to go for this morning.
You may. Do we know what the score sheet? what
This
the-
is above the score sheet. So
It's above the score sheet.
Yes,
Okay,
Judge.
so it's not a.
It's not a downward departure.
That's an important consideration. Mr. Dorsey, would you please raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide this court is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, speaking to that mic for me, this is an important part.
Yeah.
So, you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement. And those same terms are contained within your plea and sentencing agreement that I see you've signed. Is that what you're agreeing to here today?
Yeah.
And is this plea free and voluntary? The purpose of my questions is really two things. One, make sure you understand what your plea is, and to make sure that it's free and voluntary. That's the whole purpose of my questions here today. So, you've had it explained to you, there's an adjudication. We need to, I do not understand the way you've drafted the plea agreement. It says adjudication of guilt, 35 years, Department of Corrections, 25-year minimum mandatory. Are these as to all counts?
Yes, sir. I think what the state's.
Correct. Yes. But we need to say, I think we need to be very precise in here and say that these are, that the sentences are for each of the three counts, and they'll to be served concurrently. Okay.
Judge, I did find a second copy of the score sheet in the file, if I can approach.
Okay,
So
great.
it shows a total score of 324 months, so this is above guidelines.
Okay. Thank you. And is the defense counsel, are you in agreement as to the score sheet?
Yes, sir. What I did is I added. Notify the council. All time served. Change here. Edit it, just right. Judge, what I added is that's the minimum mandatory applied to counts 1 and 3. All counts are to run concurrent. He's going to be.
Okay. So again, want to make sure that you're clear what you're agreeing to here today, and that it's free and voluntary, okay? So you heard your attorney kind of make sure and clarify that as to counts 1 and 3, there is a minimum mandatory of 25 years, okay? That minimum mandatory has been explained to you, the difference between that and regular sentence where you would get gain time. Has that been explained to you, the difference between those two? Okay. And the 35 years with the 25-year minimums, all these are going to be served concurrent. In other words, they're going to be served at the same time. So you have 3 separate sentences, but they're not stacked on top of one another. They're being served all at one time. Do you understand that? Has that been explained to you? And you understand that by entering into this plea agreement here today, you're waiving the right to go to a trial. You know that. Yes? And you believe that this is in your best interest to do that? There's a number of valuable legal rights that you're waiving by doing this. The right to confront witnesses, the right to have the state prove their case beyond every reasonable doubt. These are all valuable rights. You believe it's in your best interest to enter into this plea here today?
Right now.
But we need to make sure that he's satisfied with his counsel.
Absolutely. So not only as to the plea agreement, but actually the written plea agreement, have you gone over that in detail with your attorney, make sure you had all your legal questions answered? Do you have any further legal questions today? Are you satisfied with your attorney and how he's represented you on this case?
Yeah, I had multiple attorneys.
I'm talking about this gentleman.
Oh, yeah,
This is the
yeah,
one
yeah.
that's representing you with regards to this plea and sentencing agreement. This phase of the trial, of the case, when you're entering into this plea agreement, this is a critical juncture. I just want to make sure that you've had all your questions answered and you're satisfied. If you need any further time,
Yeah.
I'll be glad to provide it to you. No, you want
Appreciate
to,
it. No,
you ready to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a legal basis for the entry of this plea agreement, counsel?
Based on the facts and circumstances.
Okay. Anything further that I need to inquire of, counsel?
There's no DNA that's available to the state that we know of that would exonerate him at this point, Judge.
Okay. Very good. Okay, Mr. Dorsey, based upon your testimony here today and the signature of your written plea agreement here today, the court will adjudicate you guilty of all 3 of the counts: second-degree felony murder with a firearm, robbery with a firearm, and second-degree felony murder with a firearm. You'll be adjudicated guilty of those 3 charges, sentenced to 35 years in the Department of Corrections. There'll be a 25-year minimum mandatory in the Department of Corrections for counts 1 and 3 only. All of these sentences will be served concurrently. There'll be standard cost and fines that will be sent to collections directly. So it'll be sent to a judgment.
And Your Honor, if the court can announce that he's entitled to credit that he's already served.
Absolutely. That is actually, we oftentimes don't remember to do that because it's, even if it's not contained in the written agreement, you always get credit for time served, but you certainly do get credit for time served in this matter. Okay? Thank you very much.
The court costs, I think, should be the enhanced costs of 1167 because of the firearm, Judge.
Very good.
Judge, I don't have anything else before the court, if I can be excused.
You may.